Hey, what's up, everybody? Justin Ochoa back with episode 16 of the Gym Sessions podcast. And today our guest is Bjorn Broman. He is the co-owner and co-founder of the Broman Academy, a basketball skill development company based out of Charlotte that he and his older brother Anders developed after their basketball careers at Winthrop. Now, Bjorn has a crazy basketball background. He actually started playing varsity basketball in Duluth, Minnesota as an eighth grader. He played out his high school career, finished his senior year averaging 50. Let me say that again, a 50 ball per game, and earned a D1 scholarship to Winthrop, where he not only played but started for all 4 years as a point guard at the D1 level. Went to March Madness, had a great career there, and now he's in coaching. So now he's passing that on to the next generation of basketball through his skill development, his team coaching, his camps, his events, and his social media branding. So we got into a conversation about all of that. We talk all things basketball from youth to pro. We talk about his development, how he trained growing up. We talk about how he trains now. We talk business. It's really a great conversation, and Bjorn is awesome. He's on track to do amazing things and continue to grow the Broman Academy. And so I was lucky enough to have him on the show to talk shop and talk hoops. So I really think you guys are going to enjoy this episode. If this is your first time here, I would encourage you to, after you listen to this, check out some of our previous episodes with previous guests. I really think you guys will enjoy those as well. But without any further ado, this is episode 16 with Bjorn Broman. Bjorn, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Let's jump right into it and kind of get into your background and who you are, how you started up your academy. Talk a little bit about your playing career. We'll get into that. But yeah, give us the bio.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Duluth, Minnesota, about 3 hours north of Minneapolis. Duluth is not a basketball area whatsoever. It's all hockey. A bunch of our buddies they casually go D1, casually go to NHL. Like, it is what it is. So grew up there, not much basketball, worked our butts off, my brother and I, and we ended up getting Division I scholarships to Winthrop University in Charlotte. Came out here for college, loved every second of it. Had success, had a lot of great memories, and the South won us over. So we are still currently out here in Charlotte, and we have started our own basketball training company for the last few years, and we do camps, leagues, group trainings, individuals, everything you can imagine. And I say I have the best job in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I share that same opinion, man. What we do, just working with athletes, whether it be on the court, in the weight room, it's truly a blessing to be a coach and kind of be viewed as that, because, as you grow up as an athlete, your coaches are kind of like your second parents, you know what I mean? And, some situations it's like some people's actual parents, like, they don't have like that steady home life, or maybe don't have a father figure or mother figure, whatever the case may be. So it's like, being a coach is a lot more than just sports.
Yeah, you're spot on. And we always say we don't know what goes on at the house with the family, whatever. We don't know the dynamics, but that hour and a half there with us once a week, twice a week, like, we're gonna get after it, but it's gonna be fun. We're gonna teach them skills that apply to basketball, apply to life, that they can take with them, hard work. But yeah, and everyone's playing days eventually come to an end. Everyone thinks they're gonna play forever, and eventually it does end. It stops. And for us now to still be able to be around the game and teach and train and help this next group it's incredible.
I love it, man. So let's talk a little bit about, your playing career and kind of how you ended up in coaching. Actually, I discovered you on Instagram, and it was, I don't know, I've been following you for a minute now, you know what I mean? But the post it caught my eye. It was like, use these 3 moves. This is how I averaged 50 in high school. I said, oh, let me watch this. You know what I'm saying? Let me watch this. So
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I wonder if he really averaged 50 in high school. And sure enough, at the end of the video, you're like, and I really averaged 50 in high school. So that's not normal. Obviously, you know, that's not a common thing. So talk about, you know, just growing up playing, like you mentioned, in a hockey kind of community. Obviously, you got really good at basketball. What was your childhood like growing up playing, and ultimately how you chose Winthrop?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, um, our area is hockey and not much basketball going on. So I always give a lot of credit to my brother and my dad. My brother's the hardest worker I've ever met. He's a year and a half older than me, and he's whatever he does, he's locked in, he's determined, and nothing can stop him. So having him as a role model from a young age really helped me. My dad was an Olympic ski jumper, which a lot of people don't know. It's not like athleticism. It's not like pure athleticism, whatever. He worked his butt off as well. That's just one of those sports. Strong legs, know how to jump off a mountain. Like it's crazy. So I had those two guys that really impact me from a young age. And you know, we in elementary, middle school, we loved the game. We played all the sports though. We're big on all the sports help each other. So we did all that. And as we got into high school, it was kind of like, all right, we want to play Division I. Like this is our goal. Let's make it happen. But being totally honest, my brother and I are slow, not athletic, can't jump very high. So we were thinking, okay, you know, how are we going to compete? And so we had and our thing was we're going to outwork everybody else. So we, in about 8th grade, my brother made up his mind, or both of us did, to play Division I. And we started going to the gym at 5 a.m. at the YMCA, at 5 a.m., 6 days a week. And my dad would come rebound for us. And I'm not saying what we did was out of this world or we had these crazy drills, but we just were committed 5-6 days a week.
Yep.
And we were going to outwork everybody. And there were days I would sleep on the gym floor. I didn't want to be there. I was in 7th grade. Like that's all real. Like people think, oh, you just go there and it's a blast. No, it's not. Like you're throwing up in the garbage can. It's so early. You have a test in your first class when school starts. Like it was brutal. But we did that from 7th, 8th grade all the way till our senior year of high school. And that really helped us get a jump on everybody. And then in high school, we played for small Christian school, Lakeview Christian Academy. No cuts. Everybody made the basketball team. It was very much faith-based and college prep. And when we got there, our role was scoring, and we did it to the best of our abilities. That was our thing. Was if it's the score, let's go do it. But then we also played AU with Howard Pulley out of Minneapolis. It's a Nike circuit basketball team. We played alongside Tyus Jones, Trent Jones, Trent Jr, all these NBA guys that are having a lot of success. And we played with them, and the Nike circuit is no joke, playing in the EYBL. And we were fortunate enough to get Division I scholarship offers, and instantly Winthrop stood out to myself and their history and all that. So my brother committed to South Dakota State. Didn't work out for him. So when I committed to Winthrop, he came with me, and it's under the coach was Pat Kelsey. I had him for 4 years, and now he's currently at College of Charleston, who's at one point this year was a top 18 team in the country. So he's doing his thing. But yeah, made it to Winthrop. Played in March Madness. I was fortunate enough to start all 4 years of my career, which not many people get to say. So it was a perfect situation for me. It was a blessing. Learned so much. And then, like I said, stuck around the Charlotte area, and now we're basketball trainers.
So I gotta keep coming back to the 50-point average, because it's like I'm trying to understand.
I kind of skim over it a little bit.
I know it's probably weird to talk about, but I'm just like, yo, that's so on a nightly basis. No, so there's two parts to this question. I read that you're second in your high school in terms of all-time scoring, and your older brother is first. Okay, so my first question is, what did he average throughout high school? And then, what was that like chasing him and kind of having that target to be like not only historical at your school, but also within your household?
Yeah, absolutely. He started from his set because in Minnesota you can start in middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I know every states have their different rules. We could play varsity in middle school, so 7th and 8th grade if you were good enough. And so we started. I think I started my 8th grade. My brother started 7th grade, but he probably averaged 10 points a game as a 7th grader, and then 13 as an 8th grader. I don't know. It wasn't much. And then that 8th grade year going into 9th grade is when like, all right, this is all right. Let's take it to another level. And he jumped to like 32, and then which is still crazy. But we're playing small school basketball in Minnesota. I always have to put it in perspective. And then just every year it kind of went up. But yeah, for me, having him as a role model, I saw the work ethic it took, and like they were double teaming him. They were triangle and two, and some teams are triangle and two on myself and him. Some triangle and two, which means triangle for the 3 defenders, 2 defenders on my brother, like just standing around.
That's crazy.
Yeah, or box and one, all that. And so I was able to firsthand learn from him, like how do I beat a press or a double team? How do I beat a guy in front of me with a help side right behind? Like I watched it all. So I was able to see how he did it. And then when it was my turn, as he graduated, I was 2 years in school behind him. I was like, all right, it's my time. And was fortunate enough to put the ball in the hoop quite a bit.
A lot. Yeah. So I think there's an interesting dynamic there, like honestly, because if you think about it, you mentioned you play small school Minnesota basketball, right? So, the hater out there would be like, oh, well, it's not that hard, to score. Mm-hmm. First of all, you score 50 on any level one time, you're certified bucket, right? It doesn't matter. Like if you're in a rec league, a 30-plus rec league, you get a 50 ball, you're scoring the rock. Like that's impressive no matter what. To average that is another thing. But the thing that I'm getting at here is that you mentioned you play on the EYBL. So all that, he can't do it against the competition, or he can't do it at the big school or on the big stage, that goes out the window. And I'm not saying you average 50 on the EYBL circuit, but you obviously did enough to get noticed by college coaches and ultimately earn a D1 scholarship. So what was that like, navigating that as a high school student, like who probably heard some of those things, like he can't do it at a higher level, blah, 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 to go on the circuit and see that type of talent and still carve out your own role and find success?
Yeah, you're spot on. That was one of the reasons we did it. We played on a smaller AU team through my brother's 10th grade year. I was 8th grade. And it was like, okay, we're putting up my brother's putting up these numbers. We're getting noticed. But that's the thing. Everyone's just like, oh, you're playing small school basketball up north of Minnesota. Yep. And we're like, no, I'm telling you, we're legit. I promise you. But how do we get in front of them? So it was the Nike circuit, played at Howard Pulley, and my brother had an incredible junior year. He ended up with 20 plus Division I offers, was on the verge of cracking a couple high major offers. He down at Peach Jam, which is the Nike championship. He's going against Andrew Wiggins, Julius Randle, Jalil Okafor, Jabari. And I want to say he averaged like 13 and a half, 14 a game. And now that's not 42 a game, 44 a game, but that 14 on the Nike circuit was worth way more than that 40, 50 a game. He's putting up against Matt Jones, I believe it was, who went to Duke. If I'm not mistaken. He was supposed to guard Anders, and he put up 20 on him. And it's like, okay, he's legit. So then suddenly people are like, oh yeah, he can play, but he's going to go somewhere small, Division I, and we'll never hear about him again. It's like the haters they don't stop. They're just constantly going to find a new way to hate. But yeah, being on the Nike circuit really solidified us. And then when it was my turn to be on that 17U Nike circuit, I think 9 of our 10 guys went Division I. I only had 3 Division I offers. I'm 2-3 inches, probably 3-4 inches shorter than my brother. I'm a point guard, so a lot of people didn't want to take the risk on me. But being on that level and playing against, Pete Sham, I played against Jalen Brunson, and now you see what he's doing in the league. So it's like that's my matchup. And De'Aaron Fox, when he was in 10th grade, playing for Houston, that's my matchup. And I was able to hold my own, and and a few schools believed in me, and and then I was fortunate enough to make it to Winthrop University.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up was, just kind of like choosing. You mentioned you played all 4 years. You started all 4 years. Um, that's so rare today. One, to even be at the same school for 4 years without transferring up or down, or if you're fortunate enough to make it to the league or whatever. Two, to start all 4 years. What was that like decision making process, finding that good fit? Because I'm sure you had, you said 3 D1 offers. I'm sure there was a lot of D2s, probably some high level NAIAs reaching out. Obviously you had a belief in yourself that you could play at that level. But there's also the whole aspect of like, where am I going to go and actually be valued and play right away? So talk about kind of that process.
Yeah. And that's a big thing I don't think kids these days understand is go where you're wanted. Don't go to the highest offer, the highest, what looks cool. Go where you're wanted and where you'll fit in. And I stand by that, because my brother went to South Dakota State, and the coach that recruited him left, and the new coach, we want him still. We want him. He didn't fit in with the style. They like tall, longer guards, and he just didn't fit in. And so I learned from that, and I'm like, all right, I'm going somewhere that wants me and that I fit with the style. And Pat Kelsey played Division I, but was like scout team, and he was, I think, Montana, and then he was at Xavier University, and he understood what being a smaller point guard is like, what not being the most naturally gifted, and he bought in. He knew what I could bring to the court, to the team still, and I fit in perfectly with them. But yeah, I was able to start all 4 years. In my sophomore year, we made March Madness. I had so many great players around me. Played in March Madness, incredible experience. Played in Milwaukee against Butler. I think we lost by like 11. My senior year, about 2/3 through the season, I was a top 5 3-point shooter in the country, 3-point field goal percentage, top 5, top 10. But as you get older, it becomes better and better. Yes, in a couple years, it'll be top 3 or something.
Yeah,
and then,
I feel that.
And then my senior year, I was fortunate enough to average double digits per game, and I think we won 19 games that season. And had a lot of great players around me, but it was also fun to play alongside my brother and play for a coach that believed in you with what I had.
Yeah, I love that. That's a huge takeaway for any athletes listening, obviously, or even parents. It's man, there's not a lot of information out there, and I'm seeing a lot of people just not making wise choices with their college path and their college selection. So I think how you played it worked out perfectly, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it couldn't have gone better. And I mean, it's frustrating for me because I think the portal can be great, but at the same time, people are abusing it, and they go somewhere, they don't like it. Boom, the next year they're somewhere else. The next year after that, they're somewhere else. And I know the COVID year and all this stuff. I don't even know if COVID years are still a thing, how many more years we got, whatever. But I see guys in their third team in 3 years. And I'm not saying, I'm not going at them, whatever. But it's like when you're being recruited, you have to understand the value of being wanted and not just going after the biggest school, the biggest name.
100%. So, you played 4 years at Winthrop, had a lot of success, both team and individual. At what point did you know, it's time to hang up the shoes? It's, my career is over. Was there thoughts of trying to go pro? Was there thoughts of, trying to extend your career, or was it like, I know I need to be in coaching and player development?
No, yeah, I no basketball player wants to get to that point where it's like, okay, what am I done? Am I done playing? And it's hard. But my senior year, it was up and down year. I battled the ankle injury that just made it a tough year. I mean, I still, like I said, I averaged double digits points per game, played 30 plus minutes a game, but it was as a senior in college, there's a lot on your shoulders. There's a lot going on. What's next? And I thought about going overseas. I know I could have, but I also had a passion for coaching and training. And if you go, I knew kind of balance it. If you go overseas, you kind of, your name almost drifts away a little bit, where we had built up our name at Winthrop University in the South Charlotte area. That's like, all right, we can capitalize on this. So my brother had started right out when he graduated, because when he transferred, he had a redshirt a year. So we were just a year apart now. He started in the basketball training business. He interned with Accelerate Basketball, who works with Steph Curry, and he learned a ton. And then it was like, all right, when you're done, we want you. I'm like, okay, like you know. But then we worked with someone else for a couple of years. I decided to hang him up, and we started our basketball training company. And then a week before COVID, we officially did Broman Academy, and it's been one of the best things ever.
That's awesome. So you were fortunate enough to not be in college during COVID. That was I was trying to make the timeline in my head, because you mentioned the COVID years and you got redshirt years. Man, there's 25, 26-year-old grown men out here still with eligibility.
I'm saying, give me a jersey. Give me a jersey. There's kids I'm 26. I graduated in 2019. Give me a jersey. There's in Charleston, there's a kid 25, 26, and like he's killing
crazy.
it. I'm like,
let me get one more. Let me get one more year eligibility. Like it's crazy because, I mean, you know, as a coach now and somebody who's in the development industry, like you also still sharpen your skill set, like as a player, you know what I mean? Even like for me, I'm 33. I have literally no competitive basketball left in my life that I have to play, but I play every week because it's like, that's what I need to like be sane. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm still trying to get in leagues and play with other guys that might be like retired pro or college players, whatever. And I'm in the gym every day working on my game, like every day, harder than I ever did when I was actually like in the sport, like when it mattered. So I know that you probably do the same thing. You could probably easily go out there and get buckets.
So the first couple of years after I graduated, I was all into the business. 2019 to probably into COVID, I was like, I've worked out every day for the last 20 or 18 years, whatever it is. I'm like, I've done how many 2-a-days in the summer, how many 3-a-days. Like I'm not an athlete anymore. And then I kind of didn't touch a basketball in the sense of me going to work out for a while. But I dove into the basketball skill training concepts and philosophies and the terms and all that. So I would say I became probably the most skilled, like all around skilled, because I'm teaching things every day. I'm doing it. If I can't do it, how am I going to put them through it? We're big on that. And I started to do that. But then after about a year and a half, I got into a Charlotte, not pro-am, but a very competitive league. And I started playing, and guys, and I was like kind of just having fun. And then guys started trash talking. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I started to get back into it. And now I play in probably 2 leagues every year, one in the spring, one in the fall. And I got that itch again. But yeah, I think I'm the most, I wouldn't say, because we worked our butts off in high school and college. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily working my hardest now in basketball, but I'm the most all around skilled. I've improved my weaknesses a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you mentioned jumping into the business, starting it with your brother. That's awesome. It's always great to kind of have a family business and you guys' last name ingrained in it. And you've carved out this like reputation, not only in the sport of basketball, but within your community there around the Winthrop, Charlotte area. What's that been like to really like grow that with your brother, who's now been obviously your brother your whole life? He's been your teammate, and now he's your business partner. So I'm imagining you guys are pretty close.
Yeah. I always make the joke, like, everything's great about what we do. I just wish I had a better partner. But yeah, he's been my best friend my whole life, and we're fortunate to be able to do this. Like I said, he's the hardest worker I know. I knew when we officially launched Broman Academy, it's like, we're not going to fail. Like with my brother, we're not going to fail. He works. He's so determined. But yeah, we started right before COVID, and we didn't know what it was going to look like. And COVID turned out to be, it sounds so bad to say it, the best thing for us. Like, we had to think outside the box. We had to go, gyms aren't open, so we're traveling the kids and we're doing indoor workouts, outdoor workouts. We're going wherever, and we were able to build our community, and we reached so many kids. And I mean, we'll touch on it, but we started social media with it. And then when things got back to normal, we built this environment, this community, and we started group training individuals. We've worked with some NBA players, but there's so few NBA players and the professional at the highest level, while there's so many kids at the youth level, that we started with the pros and the college, high school, or college pro, and then we kind of shifted down a little bit. Not that we don't work with the high level, but we just shifted just a little bit or extended it. And we run group trainings. This week, we probably have 60 to 70 kids in our weekly group training. Summer camps, few hundred every summer. Our leagues, we're fortunate to say we sell out most of our leagues, 3rd through 8th grade. And we try to do a little bit of everything, and it's gone really, really well. But at the same time, we're always thinking, how can we keep growing? What's the next step? And this last winter, we started our girls portion. We've had girls in our training, but we want to start a league for them. And then we started a league. And now this summer, we're extending that league to even bigger. So we're always constantly thinking, what can we do next? But it's the last, I don't even know what year it is anymore. The last 3 years or so has been really awesome.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I know scaling a business is crazy. Like, people think that it's easy because it's like, okay, well, you're training a lot of people, so you're making a lot of money, so it's easy. But you don't understand what goes into scaling a business. You have to have the infrastructure to do so. You have to have the space, the facilities, the staff, all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I've run into that issue, and did it wrong. You know what I mean? Where like we made mistakes and end up setting ourselves back. So talk about, kind of like what your staffing looks like, or where are you guys hosting some of these things? Like, what's your infrastructure and system like?
Love that. And because people don't understand everything behind the scenes. They think, I'm just telling you, and no knock to anybody, but when people graduate from college and they're a college basketball player, if they don't know what to do, I'll just go back home and do basketball lessons. Like I'm telling you, that's the go-to. It's people. I feel like it's watered down, or people have decreased the expectations, because everyone says they can do it. Everyone says they were amazing at it, but there's so much more that goes into it. You have to build your base, your model. You have to know your finances. You have to know your website, your signups, how to keep customers coming. Not just, I got a new client. Okay, how do we keep them to repeat every month? There's a lot that goes into it, marketing strategy, but we actually don't have our own facility. And a lot of people, trainers, they have their own spot, and we're looking to get our own. Like, that's obviously a dream of ours, but it's like, all right, we don't have it. How can we maximize what we do have? All right, we know these different churches, we know these different gyms. Okay, let's figure out deals with them, and let's go from there. So we've built some great relationships with some churches nearby. Rock Hill, South Carolina, where Winthrop is, actually it's the Rock Hill Sports and Event Center. We host, I think, the most AU tournaments in the country. Every week, Big Shots, Phenom Hoops, everyone's there. Adidas Nationals was here. Under Armour's coming. USA has been, like, we host so much. So we've gone on good terms with them. But so we've built that for like facilities. It sounds crazy. There's 3 of us, my brother and I, and then we have another part-time guy who interned. He was an intern, and then he killed it. And we're like, all right, stay on with us. And we hire different college players or different people for big camps and leagues and stuff to help us out. But what we take pride in is we play Division I basketball. We're not crazy naturally athletically gifted, but we're very smart. So we want our hands on the basketball we're teaching as much as possible. So in our leagues, we don't have dads come coach or anything like that. We coach every single team. My brother and I are the coaches every single game. With the philosophies we're teaching, it's us. The things we learned with Pat Kelsey and Mark Prosser in college, we're teaching those things now. It's not just, hey, Dad, try to touch on these things. No, like we truly take pride in it. And people may think we're crazy, but we want to be the ones teaching it. And in camps as well, we probably could hire, 4 or 5 more people, and then we can kind of just chill during the camps. But we don't do that. We're out there teaching every station, or each of our own stations. But we're out there sweating, grinding, playing one-on-one, because we want to be the ones that teach it. And then honestly, through it, we've been so blessed that you connect with the athletes better. We've got all kids of all different ages that they look at us as like a big brother. They look at us, they can talk to us about school or basketball, whatever, because we're around them. We get on them, we yell at them, but at the same time we build them up. And we feel like we've been able to do that because of how much we want to be the ones involved and the ones teaching. So it's where we push ourselves a lot, but we've been able to figure out the facility, the staffing, pretty good. But we don't have it all. We don't have all the answers. We're constantly trying to learn and grow and all that stuff.
No, that's props to you, man. That's a grind. It's like you took the same grind you guys had growing up as players and put it on the coaching side. Because, dude, I know those are long days.
Yeah.
People don't know the pain of let's call it 8-game day coaching.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
Heels on fire, hamstrings tight. That's real pain. Sometimes worse than playing 15 minutes in a game.
Yeah, we went from okay, what Jordan should I wear today? Should I wear Katie Aunt Pearl? What should I wear? Now it's okay, what's the most supportive shoe possible?
No.
What can I get some insoles? Can I get the arch? How can I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to wear the
Swear.
Nope. Now I want the comfortable stuff. But we love it, and there are days where you walk away and you're exhausted, and you're just what are what are we doing? This is so much. We could take the easy way out and do this, but it's then at the end of it, and you hear the parents or the kids talk, and it's we've never seen anything like this. You guys are so different. How you interact with kids, it's all right. We know this is our purpose, this is our passion, and we're doing it the right way.
I love that. No, you said it, man. My favorite pair of shoes is some low ones, and those got to be the worst coaching shoes of all time. Now I'm pulling up in some type of New Balance with some good cushion, some good support, trying to get myself right, man.
My brother's showing up in some running shoes. I don't even know what they're called, but their kids are what are those? They literally, and they all in the lamellos and all this stuff. I'm not to that point yet. I'm saying my brother's a couple years older. But people are looking at him and they're what are you wearing? He's don't even. You'll understand one day.
Yep. You will understand. Everything has an orthopedic cost. That's what I say.
Exactly.
So you're on your own if you want to keep wearing the J's.
Yep.
So you mentioned launching kind of a girls segment of your program, and that's also a similar goal that I have right now, is trying to really dive in on the girls and women's side of the game, because I think it's such an underserved population. And man, there's so much talent out there that's just can be developed and honestly protected too from an injury prevention standpoint as well.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some of your plans there. Some, not only that, but just general goals and plans for the future of Broman Academy.
For sure. We started a 5th and 6th grade girls league this year, and had a couple teams, and it was just so much fun. Girls are awesome. They soak everything up. They listen. And I say this, they pass the ball incredible. Some are afraid to dribble.
Oh my God!
So
yes.
They move that ball. That ball's popping. And after week 1, I looked at my brother and we're why can't the boys play like this? Everything is one-on-one. I want to be LaMelo Ball.
Yes.
I want to do whatever. And the girls pop, 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 layup. And it was so much fun. And like you said, it's I don't think enough people put the energy into the female side of it. I saw the Adidas Nationals come here, and I watched the girls, and I'm like, this is incredible. We have South Carolina, the best team in the country for college basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like these girls are hoopers. Like they're legit. It's not just they're good for girls. They are incredible talent, and people have to start respecting that. And so we have started the 5th and 6th grade, and it went great. And now this summer we're trying to go 3rd through 8th grade for girls as well. And a big thing with girls is, it can be intimidating to go to anything new. You go to somewhere by yourself and it's scary. Even as an adult, it's scary. But if you can we try to tap in with friend groups or teams, whatever, and get 2 or 3 of them, and then they enjoy it and they start telling their friends. So that's one of our goals, and we're making the right steps and all that. But we just in the area in the Carolinas, there's so much going on with tournaments and different events and stuff like that we're looking to hopefully get some different things going on, because we think we love what we're doing, and it's really growing fast. But we're also thinking the next step, bigger scale. We started our online training, and we've been fortunate with social media. We have people from all over the country, some from other countries, and we're growing that as well. So I can't say, we have some other goals in mind that I don't necessarily want to put out there, but we're not satisfied with where we are. We always want to keep growing, but also every year looks different. You never know what the next year's going to bring, what opportunity is going to present itself. So we're just taking it year by year, but our goal is to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, for sure. No, you nailed it. I think, I don't know what it is, but girls just listen so much better than the boys. Like, it's like, dude, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm like, it's the same age, same sport, same task, and I'm like seeing 2 different results. But it's like this funny theme now, because we'll have like blended groups where it'll be boys and girls together, and we'll like poke fun at the boys because
all the time,
how much more attitude they have, how much more like coolness they have. You know what I mean? They all got that like I want to look cool vibe to them, and the girls are like here to work, like no BS. It's all work. And I'll never forget, man, my 5th grade. Well, this was like in the 5th grade, but he was my coach, like pretty much growing up my whole life. In the 5th grade, he told us, he was like, I want all you guys to go home, watch women's basketball. Like, if the NBA's on, don't watch it. Watch college women's basketball or WNBA, which was like, we were fortunate enough to have the Indiana Fever here, like from the inception of the WNBA. So it's still not that old of a league. I think 25, 26 years now. But anyway, he would take us to Fever games. He would literally like ingrain us in the women's game. And he would always say, the women execute the plays better. It's way more team oriented, like both on offense and defense, like team defense and the strategies and schemes there. And that stuck with me forever. And I've always been a fan of women's basketball because it's like, it's so pure. You know what I mean? It's like exactly how it's drawn up. That's what they do and execute.
Yeah. We had group training yesterday, and I was making those same jokes. Like boys, just relax. Like, look at the girls. They're on their side. They're in the corner, and they're listening. They're ready to go, because we're doing like a 2 sides, and they're competing against each other. It's like, they didn't complain. They didn't say, oh, their cone's 2 inches in front of ours. They just go, they listen, they're ready to go. And it's like, boys, just
right
on. But yeah, it's something about that, that we want to keep getting into. And I don't think they have as many opportunities, which is unfortunate. And I just think they have so much potential, that's one of our big goals is keep growing the women's game.
Yeah, 100%. So you mentioned social media, and like, again, that's kind of how we met, and that's how I found you. So it's working for you, but there's such a fine line today between like social media trainers, if you will, quote unquote, and like real world trainers, and then people who do both really well. You know what I mean? And I would categorize you as somebody who's doing both at a high level, because you're obviously in person. You're doing it with real athletes every day. You're training hundreds of athletes with just you, your brother, and one other person. So
yeah,
you're very in the trenches. But then you also have a pretty prominent following, the business page as well, and you're having success there. How are you balancing that, and like what is kind of like your strategy within those two worlds?
yeah. And I mean, I started social media, and honestly, I got made fun of a lot. People are like, "What are you doing? Like, what's the point? You know, you're embarrassing yourself." And I still get a lot of that to this day. But social media has opened so many doors for us. We've gotten so many more kids online. It's been crazy. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying I've been, but do both at a high level, because on both, you know, there's a lot of haters out there that can sit behind a keyboard or a phone and say all this stuff. But there is a fine line, and I'm still trying to get towards it. I did a lot of funny basketball videos just to get kids involved, and then on TikTok I'm at about 550,000. On Instagram I'm closing in on 40,000 or so, and it's it's so awesome, the platform I now have. So I'm really trying to get more and more into teaching different concepts, or just teaching through my experience. Like I said, that video where you saw like this, here's some things I did to help me score 50 points a game. Now the 50 points per game kind of gets people intrigued, like it attracts people. But then, you know, we're all about, you know, having confidence in yourself. If you miss a shot, who cares? Shoot the next one. Don't body language. Don't put your head down. Next play mentality. Like that's the stuff we're trying to teach. You know, there's some you can teach online, but a lot of stuff we want these kids to become just more confident in themselves, and to understand mistakes are going to happen. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. Learn from it, grow, bounce back, and become better because of it. But yeah, social media, it's a blessing. Like I said, still get made fun of it to this day, but it's, whether it's financially, whether it's with clients, whether it's with outreach, like we're reaching so many new people like this right here, all because of just online. It's been incredible, and I'm very, very fortunate for it.
Yeah, it's definitely, man, it has so many pros. Like you said, it has the cons too, just like anything else. But the ability that you have to connect with people now from different parts of the world that you may have never even known exist is like, it's mind blowing. And now you've turned that into, you know, a crucial part of your business, basically, from a marketing standpoint, from brand awareness, potentially online revenue with the app and things like that. So it's like, if you use it the right way, it can be super powerful. But I would say, I don't know, probably half the trainers in the industry are just putting out BS. And it's
I would say more than half.
I was trying to be generous.
Yeah, you're being a nice guy, and I get it. Like there's funny stuff you put out there, and I do it all the time. Or there's different things to attract the viewer's attention, whatever. But some of the drills I'm seeing, and overcomplicating it, or this or that, it's like I don't know what we're doing, and it seems like more and more people, oh, let me just throw some basketball drills on a page and I'm suddenly a trainer. And that's what I said earlier, like it's watered down because everyone says they're a trainer, everyone thinks this stuff works, and it can be frustrating, and there's a fine line, so there's pros and cons. But I mean, I have people that follow me, or I've been in touch with, and I'm like I love that you're helping kids, but at the same time, what are we putting out there? How are we helping these kids? Are we truly helping them, or are we just kind of trying to make a quick buck, or trick them into this or that? So it's a tricky spot.
Yeah. So as far as like an industry perspective, it could be online or in person, whatever, but what are some things that you're seeing like trending, that's just like not moving the needle for development? You know what I mean? Like, what are some of the biggest issues that you think are going on right now in training?
Yeah. So, you open up a door and say, all right, where to begin? We don't have all the answers, but we've seen a lot, and just a couple of things. I think ball handling is incredible. We teach it so much. You got to have it on a string. But at the same time, in a game, you're not going out there making a 7-8 dribble combo move, going 1-2. Like, that's not getting you to the next level. That may get that may. It's all all of it comes together. That may get you viral. That may get you on overtime.
Right.
That may get you on house highlights. That's not getting you a Division I offer. Shooting the ball. I was fortunate enough at one point my junior year to be shooting like 52%, 2/3 through the season, playing 30 minutes a game. And it took a lot to get there. And people these days think Steph Curry is just, he does that and he's a good shooter. They don't understand all the shots you have to get in, all the form shooting you have to put in just to build your base to get back to that volleyball line. I don't think people take shooting seriously enough. Steph Curry changed the game, and kids love to go run to the three, but people aren't working on shooting religiously, consistently every single day. And I'll just say one more. I don't want to get too far, but a big thing is I don't think, and I may take heat for this next group knows what true hard work is. And I may take heat for that. I don't think kids these days know what it takes to get to the next level. Oh, you have a dream of playing Division I, playing professional. The time and effort and sacrifices you have to make, people these days aren't making them. I got in the gym with you on a Monday and a Thursday. Okay, we got better. Don't get me wrong. We put that work in. That's not enough. My brother and I, 5-6 days a week, we were up at 5 a.m. getting shots up. High school practice in the afternoon from 3:45 to 5:45. As we got into high school, another trainer who wasn't perfect. And we can talk more about him in a bit, but he would text us. He didn't really give us options. He was like, all right, in the gym at 8 p.m. And it was like, all right, we're there. That's in season. And that's not to like just brag about ourselves or whatever. There was times we had a 3-day during our high school season. And I don't think kids understand, like, that may sound old saying all this, but I'm like, that's hard work. That's what it took for us just to get to Division I, not play, just to get there. And kids these days, they go to the gym, post an Instagram story. Let me set my phone up, make a windmill dunk, whatever, and then post it. And it's like, all right, but are you working? Are you walking out there soaked in sweat? Or if it's a lighter day, did I get 500 makes in? Not shoot 500. Did I make 500 shots? So I could go on forever and ever, but that's something I'm passionate about, is kids these days got to learn what real hard work is.
Yeah. And even to your point, it's like, how do you make those 500 shots? Like, are you holding yourself to the standard of going at a game pace, which I know is a moving target, but it's like, are you imagining scenarios? Like if you're working off the dribble, like, are you pulling up to where a help defender would be and shooting just a shot there? Like, or are you envisioning some of these game situations?
It's easy to go work on your strengths. Like, I'm good at this. Let me just go keep doing it. Okay, well, let's start working on your off the bounce game, your quick stops into your shot. Like, it's easy to work on your strengths and do all that, but if you really want to get better, all right, what are my weaknesses? Let me lock in. Let me get those better.
100%, man. So, I want to throw you into the hot seat, but I got a couple other questions on here that I'm gonna kind of go off of. We kind of talked about, the pros and cons of social media and, some of the skills that kids lack today. But there's also a camp that says, like, today's kids are like more skilled than ever. And so while I agree with some of that is coming naturally, like you said, that hard work is not getting them where they need to be. What are some of the things kind of on the other side of that coin that you're noticing kids are like excelling at today, where, maybe if they did kind of put the two together, they'd have the perfect recipe?
Yeah, great question. And it's funny you say that. When I was in college and played March Madness, we played Butler, and their point guard was Tyler Lewis, who was similar to me, undersized. He played at NC State and played at Butler, McDonald's All-American, and now he helps run Phenom Hoops down here. And I was at a tournament with him. We met up. We were sat watching a game, and we were talking about this exact thing, because neither of us. He's way more gifted than I am athletically, but still on that level, he had to work his butt off. And we were talking, and we were saying, like, these kids are so athletic. They're so fast. They're naturally, this probably is the most naturally gifted era we've ever seen. You see these 8th graders, and you're like, what? We're dunking like this already.
Crazy.
We're doing all this, but they couldn't break a press. These kids were jumping. They have a couple are going to Virginia Tech, couple are going, all these high majors. 1-2-2 press or a 2-1 whatever diamond press was killing them. They couldn't figure it out, and I'm like, so we're naturally gifted, but up here, what are we doing? I say that, so it's the most naturally gifted, but I think we're lacking so much of the smarts of the game. Maybe the worst it's ever been. And I may take heat for that, but like they couldn't break a press. They're not smart enough, but they're so naturally gifted. And so we'll get to the positive though. That's just something that we noticed, or we've talked about, exactly like you said. But I mean, the positive stuff that these kids are doing is they have access to, say, trainers or the gym or playing AU at a younger age. We started competitive AU in middle school or 9th grade. Down here in the Carolinas, there's 2nd and 3rd grade AU tournaments. Whether it's positive or bad thing, but it's kids getting in the gym, they're working, and it's competitive. They're getting after it. So there's more opportunities, more access for these kids, which is exactly what I want. I want Duluth, Minnesota. We're not there yet, but in these other spots, it's kids that have more opportunities to get in the gym, get the trainers, get the group training, get the camps, learn these concepts, and then go run with them. It's a weird thing to look at from a training standpoint, because I love to break things apart, analyze it. But when I go watch these prep schools and these high schools play, I'm amazed. They push the ball. The transition is probably the best it's ever been. Guys are getting up and down the floor. When it's in transition, I see a lot of unselfish play. The ball's popping, the ball's moving. They're getting after it. A lot of teams have high energy. They're cheering each other on. It's fun to watch that. But I don't know. As a trainer, I just always see the positive, like, oh, they're so athletic. Negative, like, where are the smarts? So I always fight that inner battle.
I think it's because, like, kids, and really kid to me is, like, at this point, anybody who's playing basketball, even a college person, is like, you're a kid still in my head. So it's like kids don't watch the game.
Yeah.
They're more of a highlight driven era. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So kids aren't watching the games, and even in the highlights, they you might even pick up on something from a highlight, but you don't know why that highlight happened. Maybe the team ran a similar action, the play or the possession before, and they saw something, and then the point guard said, hey, next time we're going to run the same action, but I want you to do this instead. It'll be there. So it's like watching that game in its full context is going to help get you smarter at the game. Watching highlights is great, you know what I mean? But like the film breakdown is not there. Like kids are not watching full games.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're going to the game and it's a form of entertainment. So they're not like actually locked in on the strategy piece of the game.
Yep. 100%. And like I mentioned earlier, we had a trainer when we started really taking it serious. His name was Will Starks. He passed away when I was a freshman in college. He had heart issues, and him and his son Diami impacted our lives forever. That's a big reason we're in training. And when we would train with him, in the late at nights or in the off season, we weren't really allowed to be on our phones. Now back then it was flip phones and slides and whatever. We weren't really allowed to do that. And it was just like, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. It's a Friday night. Everyone's at the football game. We're in the gym. There's 3 of us. These are our Friday night lights, he would always say. And he taught us, how to watch games, how to break things down. He taught us hard work. In the summer, I remember we had a 4-day. We ran hills in the morning. Then we went to the gym. Then we got lunch. Then we played 5-on-5 at a college against D3 school. And then we were back in for shots that night. And it's like he taught us all that, and that has nothing to do with athleticism or how fast you are, how high you can jump. He just taught us how to learn the game, study it, become a student of it. And it became, when you're locked in like that, everything you do, it's like, okay, if I'm watching a game, how can I get better? It's not just for like the kids these days. How can I go viral? How can I get everyone to look at me? How can I get more followers? Like kids these days want more followers than they want necessarily more college coaches to be interested in them. And so it's
right.
it's a battle, but yeah.
Totally agree, man. So last thing, I want to get you in the hot seat.
Let's do it.
My favorite part of the show. It's just 7 to 10 random questions about whatever.
Hit me.
Rapid response. You can go deep on them, or you can just one word answer, whatever you're feeling. All right. So got to start off. Got to bring it back. What's your all-time career high or best game that you remember?
High school, I had 74. I went 15 of 26 from 3 against Maranatha Christian. That team actually got 3rd in the state tournament that year. We lost the game. That was high school. AAU, I had 24 against each one teach one out of Florida. And people might not think that's a lot, but that was on Ben Simmons, Tacko Fall, Antonio Blankeny. All these guys that are pros or whatever had 24 on them. College, my career high was 29.
That's what's up. So out of those 3, which one was your favorite game, though?
Question 1B out of this one.
Yeah.
I would say the 24 against each one teach one.
Yeah.
It was in Louisville. It was, you're going against other NBA players, and we probably had 100 plus college coaches watching the game. Not for me. It wasn't for me. It was all the kids around me and the other team, and I put on a show. And I remember, I'm not a big trash talker. I was like saying stuff under my breath, like you can't guard me, against Antonio Blankeny, who LSU and then was on the Bulls, and I'm like looking back, I'm like, what am I doing? But it was just one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had.
That's amazing. I think I could probably guess the answer, but I always like to ask this anyway. Growing up, what was your dream job? Like, we're talking like elementary school.
From a young age, I wanted to play in the NBA. That was always a big thing. Was, I would see Steve Nash, and I'm like, he's not tall. He has long hair like me. Oh, he just kind of, because I wasn't a big scorer, he just passes the ball. He makes it look easy. Like, I can do that. So I would say it's probably, I can't even think. I never want to be a doctor or a teacher or anything like that. I really love sports. So I'd say NBA player.
Got you. What celebrity do you think would make an actually good president?
We're going all over the place. Which celebrity?
All over the place.
Which celebrity would actually make a good president? Put me on the spot. I was thinking like, Netflix show, Hulu show, celebrity. I've heard good things about Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks. I think financially he can help the country. Sure. I think that's what presidents do. I don't know. You stumped me on this one.
That's actually a good answer.
I think financially, I mean, there's stuff Mark Cuban does that I disagree with, but I've heard good things in that sense. No, I have it. Let's cut Mark Cuban out of there. Okay, Mark Cuban, you're out.
Okay.
A celebrity that would be a good president, Tim Tebow. That's my guy.
Tim Tebow. Oh,
Tim Tebow.
That was not on my radar.
I'm a big into my faith. He's a big faith guy. He worked his butt off. He was so successful.
Yep.
Not just in college, he's successful at life. Everything he does, he's good at, but he works hard to become good at it. But then also he is just such a positive influence in everything he does. His night to shine, and everyone that comes in contact with him. Yep, it's Tim Tebow. Lock it in.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I was not thinking Tim Tebow. That would be. I don't know, man. I love Tim Tebow. Like, I don't know anybody personally that doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. I
I'm
don't know how
assuming
someone
somebody
could.
doesn't, but like
I don't know how anyone could go against him or be mad about that.
He's a great human being. What's your all-time favorite movie?
Ooh, good one. Growing up, all-time favorite movie was Miracle on Ice, and that's just because from where I'm from, hockey. It was the 1980 U.S. Olympic team. They pieced together this team, and Herb Brooks was incredible at finding the right. I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right players. Or I probably butchered that quote, but it's something like that. And what also is cool, my dad was at one of the games because he was in the Olympics that year. So he was at the semifinal game, which he says was he'll never forget. But then my other favorite movie is Glory Road. Remember Do you ever watch Glory Road?
Oh yeah.
El Paso, Texas.
The basketball movie.
El Paso, Texas. It was. It was a balance of
a dope
black
movie.
and white players, and finally bringing them together, and people from all over the country making it work, and people were looking at them weird, and stuff was happening on the road, and it always got me excited. We'd watch it like before a 3-on-3 tournament the next day.
Dope.
And it was a good one.
That's a good movie. Do you remember the first album that you purchased or downloaded?
So I wasn't a big music guy, but then I got into my high school. I got into Drake, big Drake guy. So it would be probably
Drake.
The Take Care was 2011 or so. And I started getting into it. Nothing Was the Same was 13. And then If You're Reading This Is Too Late was 2015. It's somewhere in there is when I got into like AAU basketball, and everyone has headphones on and they're listening to stuff, and I'm there without headphones. I'm like, all right, I got to get into music. so I started listening. I started listening to Drake. So I'd say Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, If You're Reading This Too Late, all that good stuff. He's the GOAT.
I like that. He's unreal. I love Drake. Big Drake fan. I wouldn't be mad if he was our president either. I know that's probably not the most politically correct route to go, but Drake for president, I'm on board with that for sure. If you could live out the life of any movie character, who would it be?
Live out the life of any movie character. So instantly I go.
Basically, like.
What's that?
Go ahead. I was going to say, basically, you just have to you have to be that person for the rest of your life. Like, you have to become
and this might
that
be
character.
A cheat code. More Than a Game, LeBron's high school documentary. I believe it's called More Than a Game.
Yeah.
That my mind goes right to that. That was another big time movie we'd watch. And if I could go take LeBron's spot, I would in a heartbeat. Like it's incredible. That's
sure.
one I would probably go into.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes. I have a basketball mind, so it goes right there.
That's a good one. All right, a couple more. This is random. Do you remember your SAT or your ACT score?
Jill Broman, my mom. I don't know if she'll be too happy with me saying this. I think it was 24, 25 for ACT. Which I think is solid. I think 18 ACT? You gotta get 18 again to college.
Yeah.
I did put in all the time studied for it, which not proud about. But yeah, I'd say 24, 25. Yeah. It's one of those.
You got there. You got to a really good school either way. So you were solid. All right. So last one. I saw this on Instagram. I'm going to make it my own version because I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, basically you get one shot from various spots on the court. You know what I mean? So you can either take you could take a free throw for 10 grand. You can take a top of the key 3 for 20. You could take either wing 3 for 30, or you could go corner 3, deep corner 3 for 50. You get one shot. Where are you taking the shot? Like, how are you going to get that?
I think I shot for my college career like 80% from the free throw line, but that seems like the go. I wouldn't take that. I would say in high school I was a corner. I loved the corner 3. But as I
Nice.
practice, I don't know, college kind of drifted out. Being a point guard, I had to be the first one back in transition. So a lot of my threes started to become top of the key. I would probably say top of the key three. I think straight on, give me the ball, stepping into it. I don't know if that's just being an old head and like having the confidence, but I'm like, even right now in sandals, like, all right, let me step into it. I believe I'd hit it. But I'd go top of the key.
For sure. I love that. All right, man. Well, before I let you get out here, why don't you tell everybody where they can find out more about you and the academy?
Yep. So we run Broman Academy down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can find us at bromanacademy.com. On Instagram, you can find us at bromanacademy.com, or sorry, Broman Academy as well, and on TikTok. And then for myself personally, on Instagram, it's Bjorn Broman 13, TikTok Bjorn Broman. We're constantly trying to keep growing and reach new people. So if you're interested, you want to talk, you want some help, you want to get involved in some training, hit us up, and we'd love to work with you.
Awesome, man. I'll be sure to link that up. And once again, I appreciate you taking the time and jumping on the show.
This was a blast. I really, really am glad you had me on. So thank you, my man.
And that was episode 16 with Bjorn Broman. Again, the co-founder and co-owner of the Broman Academy out there in Charlotte. Great conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. It was really great to meet him. And that was actually our first time talking, but we talked both before and after recording that podcast for an extensive period of time, just about business, training, life, just getting to know each other. And I can just tell that Bjorn has that it factor in both his online social media presence and his in-person business. The Broman Academy are both going to continue to explode. So I'm really looking forward to, keeping up with Bjorn and checking out his progress and watching him continue to elevate and excel at what he's doing. So again, episode 16 here. If you guys have not listened to previous episodes, make sure you check back for those. We got a lot of heat in the archives. I think you guys will really enjoy that. And then the last thing I ask, if you could be so kind, leave us a rating, some feedback, comment on whatever platform you're using. Not only does this help me grow the show, but it also helps me show the guests how impactful and how important their time and info was to us. So I want to be able to show Bjorn this episode and say, yo, man, look at this. People are really loving this. The comments are great. The feedback is positive. It helps them know that they came on here, spent their time pouring into others, and that we are grateful for that time. And then, like I said, it also helps me grow the show. So it's a win-win for everybody. So if you guys could do that, that'd be awesome. Until next week, I'm really looking forward to, keeping the show going and keeping the momentum going. So we'll see you guys then for episode 17.